Okay, I think we're good to start here. So first off, hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. My name is Mark Cohen, and I am the Partnership Manager here at TradeGecko, and I will be the moderator on today's webinar, Masterclass, How to Make Selling Online Easier by Integrating Inventory and Shipping. So a few housekeeping items I'd like to address before we get started. Today's webinar should take us about 30 to 40 minutes, leaving us lots of time to answer all your burning questions at the end. We will be recording this webinar and we'll share the recording and the presentation afterwards. And also, if you do have any questions, please input them in the chat box. You should see it on the right-hand side where we will be able to answer them at the end of the session. So joining me on today's webinar, we have Robert Gilbreth, VP of Marketing and Partnerships at ShipStation. Robert was named Top 50 Online Seller Influencers by SaleWho, has been the VP of Marketing at ShipStation for 4 years, is passionate about user stories and why they do what they love. Thank you for taking the time today, Robert.
Hey, thanks.
And then also on today's webinar, we have Bruce Warren, who is the Vice President, Global Marketing here at TradeGecko. Bruce is a technology executive with 20+ years of international experience in marketing, product management, business development, and corporate planning, focused on connecting business owners and partner advisors with the right solution for their inventory and order management needs. And Bruce, thank you for taking the time as well.
Great to be here, Mark.
So in terms of going through today's agenda, first, Robert will be starting on the ShipStation side, providing us with a shipping 101 and going through the evolution of customers' expectations. Times are changing. And on the TradeGecko side, Bruce will be going through inventory and order management, shipping, bringing it all together. So we're going to start off today with Robert. So on to you, Robert. Take it away.
Hey, thanks. And now I hear a Bob Dylan song in my head saying the times they are changing, and I think that they've been changing for a bit, and it'll be fun today to kind of go through ShipStation perspective on some of that. But first, I wanted to share just briefly sort of the history of ShipStation, a little bit about why ShipStation even exists. We're roughly 7 years old in our current ShipStation iteration, but prior to that, we sort of attacked the shipping problem for retailers by building an eBay shipping tool called Octane, and within a year or two realized that there was a greater need beyond just the eBay ecosystem, and ShipStation was born. Had a really fun time growing the business and growing our user base and helping so many people out. This is recognized in a big way back in 2014 when we were purchased by Stamps.com, and we've been continuing the growth since then, going in 2000 later that year, launching a updated version of our workflow, and more recently expanding out into the international realm with UK, Australia, and further enhancing things we had previously done in the Canadian market. So kind of proud of what we've done and wanted to share that with everyone. As far as the times being changing for us, we have to first acknowledge that there's a change in what our customers, what our consumers are expecting, right? And a big chunk of that is based on the service and what they get from Amazon. We have to address the Amazon, right? It's not just Amazon though. It's mobile phones. It's being able to get a meal delivered to your office or home, basically on demand. It's all of the things on a mobile. It's being able to demand a car and get a car to pick you up in a matter of moments. So there's this intensified sense of instant gratification that folks need, and it goes well beyond e-com. But obviously today we're talking about retail and the consumers that are interacting with you. So with ShipStation, we like to talk about being proficient at being efficient. It's part of our mission. And so on our end of things, what we're trying to do for you guys, the retailers, is we're trying to eliminate, and we feel like we're succeeding with this. We want to give you a situation where you can eliminate manual decisions. So you can think about a manual decision as anything that you have to do, that you have to, every time it pops up or this thing pops up, you have to stop what you're doing and think about something, take some action. It could be that it's actually going through a thought process you've already gone through before. It could be something like copying and pasting information from one piece to another. It's slow, it's error prone, and it doesn't set you up for the expectations that your consumers have. They don't really, they like your product, they like your brand, you've got them to convert, but at that point in time, they have the same expectations of you as they do of any other retailer that they're shopping with. So, what you have there is you have a consumer that you've converted, you maybe have spent some marketing dollars on it, and it's a time where errors and moving too slow will cost you even more of that money, and you don't want to waste, obviously, that piece of it. So on the consumer side, what are they're expecting, back to sort of what they're expecting. They want that package, right? They want and now expect faster fulfillment times. They're expecting you to do things in a way that's going to allow you to service them quickly, economically, and they're expecting things from you from the fact of them dealing with the Amazons of the world and also your other competitors. So we try to set you up to be in a situation to handle those concerns. And obviously, like I said earlier, you spent the money on marketing already. You want to keep them in your realm and hopefully build some loyalty there. And I'll show you a little bit more about some ideas that we share internally here at ShipStation and built into our software to help you with that. I'd like to kind of talk now about the communication stream that happens between you and your customers. So, again, you've got the order. They are now sitting there with this expectation, right? Sometimes they have a little bit of a concern that they even placed the order. It's a guilt. It's not our fault as retailers, but they have a guilt that they made a purchase, right? And so a big way and something you have to do to kind of alleviate that feeling and have them start feeling good about what's about to arrive at their doorstep or at their office is by better transparency around the stages of the order post them hitting submit order. Obviously, I think everybody's probably already doing some type of order confirmation, but it's a big piece. These type of emails, these transactional emails, if you will, they get opened at a rate. As a marketer, you wish you could have every marketing email open at these rates, but obviously not the case. But these do. They get lots of these emails will get 100+% open because people are going back to check, right? They want that confirmation that something's happening. So obviously, the first one you should be sending out is the order confirmation. It's a time where you can not only say, hey, yes, you ordered, but here's what to expect. And you can set them up to have the right expectation. One that's possible through ShipStation that some people don't think about is that telling the consumer, hey, your order is actually now being processed. It's in the warehouse. It's a small little nuanced piece, but it's a step that people they're concerned with, right? Think about if they're ordering from somewhere else who's telling them, hey, your order here where it is in the stage, and you're not telling that, you're missing out on a piece. Again, it's another point. All these are points where you can also continue to set up the correct expectation from the consumer side of things. Another one that I find pretty interesting and it can be probably my favorite one of all these is just letting the person know that it's been shipped. And I'm going to put a caveat on that. This isn't the, hey, I stuck a label on the box email. A lot of people do that, and we find that to be can be a bad idea. Sticking a label on the box, as you know, doesn't mean it's actually on the carrier's truck yet. It doesn't mean there's a tracking code. And think about it from your consumer's point of view. They don't really care if it's in warehouse or on a truck. What they really want to know is I want to be able to click a tracking link, a tracking number, and see that it's left your warehouse. And so we provide a feature where you can actually set and say, don't send the your order has been processed, your order has been shipped out email until it's actually been received by carrier. It's actually en route. It is a little nuance, but it does make a difference to your end consumer. It doesn't give them. We've all done it. You click through, you get taken to some page, and there's nothing there. All it says is that the shipping information has been received by the carrier. And like from a consumer standpoint, what does that even mean, right? So that's a little tip we like to share that can make a big difference. And then the last one is sometimes not done because you expect, oh, the box is on their front porch, that's fine. Or they'll go click the tracking email and they'll see that it's been delivered. Telling them it's been delivered, it's powerful. It lets them show that you've actually watched that order from them all the way through to placement on a front step, at the front of a building, however it's being delivered. It's super powerful as well. It gives you also a time where you can start continuing to build up some of that loyalty. I like to see the order delivered ones that say, now, they say something cute or funny or nice about it. Like, hey, now you can run outside and open up your package, and it can be playful. It's another time to build that human connection with your consumer. I mentioned clicking through to a tracking page, and what I was going to end with today, as far as that goes for ShipStation, we've launched, this is in the last year or so, we launched what we call a branded tracking page. And in this case, you'll see that it's the products there in the lower left are ShipStation, t-shirts and hats. So, pretend that you have your products in there. But what we let our users do is basically brand this page, their logo, where it says your company there on top, that would be your logo. The colors that you see, as far as the greens and the blues, those are ShipStation colors. This tool actually, as you build it out, it looks at your logo and it'll put your colors in here. And I'd like to show this partly because we talked about those different transactional emails. The one that is the click through for tracking. Right now, every email you send, let's say you use a couple of carriers, those tracking emails, they're going to get clicked and it's going to go to a carrier page. That carrier page doesn't have your brand. It doesn't have cross sells. It doesn't have your social media accounts. You're really sending that user away. You're giving up control of the experience, right? You're giving up a view of your brand. And so what we allow with the feature in ShipStation is for those links, there's still the tracking number. The users can still see those. It's not something we're hiding. But when they click through, they can actually be sent to your branded page. So it does make a big difference. This is like probably one of our favorite new features in the last year or so. And it goes back to kind of our roots in trying to help you guys out. And again, we know you spend a lot of time. You want to spend even more time on your branding than you do on shipping. So not only we're making you efficient to give you that, but then we're giving you tools internally as well to do those things. So with that, I'm going to hand the call over to Bruce, and he's going to kind of bring it all together for you guys.
Thanks, Robert. Yeah, really good presentation. Enjoyed that. So yeah, I want to talk about bringing it all together, and that's inventory and order management plus shipping. And we built our ShipStation integration about 4 years ago. So we saw a big opportunity in terms of building that end-to-end workflow and taking it right through to the consumer store, as Robert was describing. So just to give you a quick background on TradeGecko. So really, you should think about us as the single source of truth for your sales and operations data related to inventory and order management. And we really provide that central core for your wholesale and e-commerce business operations. Company is about 6 years old. The headquarters are actually in Singapore. We've got our North American headquarters here in Toronto, and the founders are from New Zealand. So quite an international company. And we've grown significantly over those years. We've got about 15,000 users now in 90 countries around the world. And we're the preferred inventory and order management software by Shopify Plus as well. So just wanted to, talk a little bit about some of the operational challenges that are facing commerce businesses. And I mean, I think it's definitely hard to be a commerce business today. So, on the pro side, the internet and the advent of Amazon, Shopify, and a lot of other marketplaces and solutions have made it really easy to start a business and sell goods online. But this new technology and ease of access, both to consumers and wholesale buyers, brings a lot of challenges with it. So things like a lot of these companies are stuck on old systems with no paper trail. On the inventory management side, you're always in danger of overselling and underselling if you don't have the right systems in place. The communications among the different teams and operations and sales, accounting, et cetera, is challenging. And then on the financial side, reporting and auditing is done at the end of the year, and is really painfully difficult for companies to do. And I want to talk a little bit now about 3 problems that we see all the time with our customers. And the first is really around order management. So one of the founders of TradeGecko actually had a t-shirt company. And when he just was running it with a single online store, managing inventory was pretty easy. But then when he added sales channels, he added a wholesaler and started attending trade shows where he was selling it, it really became a nightmare. And obviously, all you need to do is screw up one order to an important customer. It can have a huge negative impact on your business. So really the challenges here are around integrating all of your sales orders, keeping track of those orders and invoices, really important to manage your cash flow and making sure those invoices are being paid on time. And then to the ShipStation integration, really making sure that orders are being shipped and delivered and making their way to the customer. So there's big challenges around managing those orders. And the second problem area I want to talk about is inventory management. So the challenge here is really keeping track of inventory levels across channels, and that's really hard. I mentioned it's when you have multiple channels. So if you have too much inventory, that's going to cause your stock holding cost to be too high. If you have too little inventory, you're leaving money on the table because you're not able to fill orders, and you're creating unhappy customers, both from an end customer perspective and for wholesalers and distributors. So it's really about staying on top of stock levels and managing your sales velocity so you can minimize those stock holding costs, because we know that's expensive, and making sure that you're purchasing the right amount of stock to be able to fill that demand. And one thing I think it's important to point out here is that, moving from paper-based to Excel does not equal automation. So a lot of people think, no problem, we're online now, we don't use paper anymore, I put everything on my Excel spreadsheet. But the challenge is, what about when you have multiple channels or add even one new salesperson that's going to trade shows? And what about if you stock out of a high margin item that a new wholesaler just ordered 1,000 units of? That's where it gets really painful and expensive. We actually have a customer in Singapore who, before he signed with us, was still counting inventory by hand. So he called down to the warehouse and they'd go around and count it by hand. And we also hear that fax machines are still used a lot, which is shocking for the B2B sales orders. So what I would say to this is, don't confuse digitization with automation. So Excel or Google Sheets aren't really the answer. There's a simple solution to a complex problem. The last area I'll talk about is around warehouse management. So this is everything from generating your shipping labels and documents, integrating with third-party logistics firms, and receiving inbound fulfillments and purchase orders. And then layered on top of all these things is an increasing shift to mobile. So what's commonplace for us as consumers, like we all have a lot of apps on our phones and are very used to using them, is not really commonplace in the B2B space. We want to be able to have access to our core business systems. We're on the go, because for many entrepreneurs, their office is wherever they happen to be, whether they're visiting customers at a trade show, coffee shop, etc. So they want to be able to take orders and payments directly at trade shows, have that real-time information for traveling sales reps and management, be able to accept B2B orders online on mobile devices, and also to be able to check on the business and accept those orders when you're on the go and away from the office. So now I want to transition and talk about the TradeGecko solution. So what TradeGecko really does is connect commerce workflows all the way from purchasing to selling and shipping. So we do that on the purchasing side by making sure, I talked about, that you're purchasing the correct amount of stock, being able to accept B2B orders online, providing your sales reps with a mobile app so they can take orders when they're at a trade show, things like that. And then importantly, making sure that you're collecting payments in a timely manner, you're able to create and send invoices properly, and then you're integrated with the shipping systems to be able to create these documents and actually ship the items to the end consumer. And in order to connect the end-to-end commerce workflows, it's important to integrate with the key providers in the ecosystem. So that's everything from Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, Amazon on the e-commerce and POS side, all the way through to 3PLs and shipping providers like ShipStation and Amazon on the fulfillment side. And then importantly, being able to integrate with your accounting systems to be able to keep track of the financial metrics. So an important part of simplifying those key workflows is really to automate the order fulfillment process. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So I mentioned at the beginning that TradeGecko really acts as that single source of truth for the business. And we really empower businesses to take control of their inventories and be able to monitor stock levels, while ShipStation makes for effortless order for shipment and fulfillment to provide that good end-to-end experience for the consumer. And let's talk a little bit about, at a high level, about how that works. So when the sales order comes in via the e-commerce cart, and those sales orders will enter TradeGecko, and the data is automatically pushed to ShipStation for delivery. So that's integration that we built, as I mentioned, a few years ago. And that enables a two-way sync between TradeGecko and ShipStation. And then the package is shipped to the customer. And then when the shipping system delivers the orders, your sales orders in TradeGecko are updated. It shows you what's been paid for, what's been invoiced, what's been packed, what's been shipped. And the packing number and the tracking information is automatically passed back to WooCommerce and Shopify from TradeGecko based on the ShipStation data. So that's at a high level how it works. So it's a very seamless and well-structured integration. Now I just want to talk a little bit about providing SMBs with advanced inventory and order management tools and how we do that. So really this is, I want to highlight some of the advanced inventory and order management features of TradeGecko. So one of the things we support is batching and expiry dates, which is extremely important for businesses of your type. We support multi-location inventory. I mentioned that we integrate with Shopify and WooCommerce. We also support back ordering and pre-ordering for customers, enables you to make stock takes and adjustments across your sales channels. And we also support packs and kits. So we have a lot of inventory and order management features that we've built up over the last several years, thinking of the needs both of wholesalers and e-commerce providers. So the best part is that it's free. Well, it's free for 14 days at least. We've got a 14-day free trial. And I encourage you to start a free trial so you can understand how the software works and really can help you solve what can be a tricky problem in your business workflows. And to do that, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can either go to TradeGecko.com or contact success@TradeGecko.com, and they'll be happy to help you and answer your questions. And there's another great feature that we have. It's the TradeGecko Partner Program, and that's at TradeGecko.com/partners. And you can also make money through this partner program, either a 20% ongoing revenue share or a 200% one-time bounty. And now I think we're going to take some questions from the audience, so I'll turn it back over to Mark.
Hey, thanks so much there, Bruce. I have a couple questions lined up here. It looks like the first one is for Robert. Question from the audience: does ShipStation grow with my company easily?
That's a super easy question. Whoever asked that, thank you. Yes, it does grow, and I'll kind of add a caveat that it grows because of how it was built and how it's set up. So it was built to be used by any size retailer, from somebody like my dad who ships 10 things a week from his eBay store. That's like a huge week for him, all the way up to folks that are shipping 1 million packages a week. And so what we did early on is we wanted to give super powerful, easy to use tools that weren't necessarily dumbed down or complicated to use. And so that allows ShipStation to, yes, grow with you. And I guess a different example of that would be that all the selling channels that we have and all of the tools and the carriers, they're all available there, no matter if you're a smaller seller or a larger enterprise. They're there for you. It's sort of, I think it's what has made ShipStation so sticky and so loved by its users, is that it's something they can find, they can start using, and then it's something they don't have to worry about anymore, no matter how big they get.
Oh, that's great there. It makes sense. So next question we have is for Bruce. Who is TradeGecko best suited for?
Oh, that's a great question. So TradeGecko is really focused on wholesalers, e-commerce brands, and hybrids of the two. And we generally focus on growing businesses that deal with multiple channels I mentioned earlier. So Shopify, maybe you have a wholesale partner, retail stores, et cetera. And we deal with finished goods. And we're a global company, office in Toronto, but also service customers in APAC through our Singapore office. And we've got customers around the world.
Okay. And just scrolling through here, I got another one for Robert. What do you see as some upcoming trends in e-commerce?
Guys, so many ways to go with that. I mean, what we talked about earlier as far as the expectation of consumers, I don't see that slowing down. And, you know, we use the Amazon buying Whole Foods. Part of that play is for them to be able to have product in all these cities. You know, we have like folks that are buying some of the Favor, some of the same day delivery local companies are being bought up by folks. I really see the idea that I can order and get something the same day without having to go to the store. So this is like a whole different generation of expectations. This isn't the order online, then I go to Target or Walmart and pick it up. This is I order from those kind of places and anyone else. It doesn't have to be a big brand and expect to see it. You know, so I would say next day is going to become the norm, and same day is going to be the new free shipping, if you will.
That makes sense. Good insight there. And now I got a quick question here for Bruce. What are some other integrations that TradeGecko supports?
Yeah, good question. So TradeGecko supports a number of commerce integrations. So on the accounting side, QuickBooks Online, Xero, and then in terms of sales channels, Shopify, WooCommerce, Amazon, and we also support Fulfilled by Amazon, LOCAD for forecasting, and many others. And all that information is available on our website as well.
Okay, it's great. And it looks like we got an eager potential eager customer here on the Robert side. We got a question around labels. How many labels can I generate at once?
How many do you want to generate? So for us, we talk about that as being a batch feature, and it's sort of one of those unbroken things. So you know, it really comes down to how many can you handle, and be realistic when you answer that to yourself, because it might be nice to be able to print off 10,000 labels at once, but there are limitations of, I mean, at some point there's even a roll of label limitation. So we built ShipStation to handle whatever, but it really comes down to what can the humans that are going to have to, and the machines that have to produce these things, what can they realistically handle is what the limits are.
Okay, that's great. So a lot being the answer. And then a question here for Bruce. So how do we get more information around TradeGecko?
Yeah, so one of the things I really like about our website is there's a good resource center. So that's a great place to start if you're trying to educate yourself on the space and understand kind of what you need and what some of the challenges are and the solutions. But really the best way, I think, is to go sign up for a trial at TradeGecko.com, or you can also request a demo, and one of our product specialists will be happy to take you through the product so you can understand it better.
Okay, just going through the queue here. Looks like those are all the questions today. So again, I just wanted to thank you guys so much. Thank you to Robert and Bruce for joining today's webinar. I'd also like to thank the audience for tuning in, and we hope today's webinar will help you to grow and scale your business in 2018 and beyond. With a focus on utilizing shipping and managing inventory technologies effectively, 2018 should prove to be a great year ahead. Now, if you're interested in learning more about TradeGecko or ShipStation, please check out our websites, start a free trial, or contact our customer support team today. Thanks again, and we hope you will join us again next time.